2 years ago, they thought he died in a war. But he hadn't died, he was just making a plan. And now, he's back to destroy the world of the woman who faked his death piece by piece. Adrian Cole had been missing for 2 long years, swallowed by a war that chewed up names and spat out ghosts. No one expected him to survive. No one was waiting for him. The official letter said, missing in action. His wife had cried for a week, then vanished from everyone's lives like smoke. When the war finally ended, Adrian came home with nothing but a dog tag, a limp, and a face that had forgotten how to smile. All he wanted was to hear his daughter Sophie's laughter again to believe that something in this world was still pure. But when he reached his house, it was nothing but a carcass of memories. The swing he'd built for Sophie was rusted, the windows coated in dust, and the flowers Catherine once planted were now brown and brittle. He knocked once, twice, 3 times, no answer. The air was heavy, lifeless. He circled around the back door, locked. He tried the window, nothing, just silence. Then the neighbor's door creaked open. Grace, the old woman who used to bring cookies on Sundays, stood frozen. When she saw him, the trash bag slipped from her hands. Adrian, you're alive. He lifted his gaze, voice low and even. Where's Catherine? Her face twisted in discomfort. She's gone. Left about a year and a half ago. Took off and dumped Sophie with her sister. Never came back. Adrian's throat tightened. My daughter? Grace nodded sadly. Still with that drunk. You should go get her before it's too late. He didn't respond. His shadow stretched behind him as he walked away, quiet and deliberate. When he reached the decrepit apartment building, a sour stench of mold and beer hit him before he even knocked. He pushed the door open. Inside, filth. Empty bottles on the floor, curtains drawn, air thick with neglect. Then a small sound, a faint sob. Under the table, a little girl crouched, hugging a stuffed bunny like a lifeline. Her hair was matted, her cheeks hollow. Adrian knelt slowly. Sophie, the girl's head lifted. Her lips trembled, eyes wide and fragile. Dad, is it really you? He swallowed hard, forcing down the storm in his chest. Yes, sweetheart, I'm home. She stood, hesitant at first, then ran into his arms. The moment she touched him, something inside him broke open. 2 years of silence collapsed into that single heartbeat. He closed his eyes, inhaling the faint scent of her hair, dirt, dust, and safety. Then the door burst open. A woman stumbled in. Martha, Catherine's sister. Her eyes were bloodshot, her hand gripping a bottle like a weapon. What the hell are you doing here? Adrian didn't look up. Taking my daughter. She laughed, bitter and loud. Your daughter? You're dead. Catherine said she buried you. He rose to his full height, calm but deadly. She lied. Martha took a step back, fear flickering behind her bravado. Get out, or I'll call the cops. Adrian moved closer, took the bottle gently from her hand, set it on the counter. Call them. But before you do, look me in the eye and tell me I don't deserve to see my child. She couldn't. He turned, scooped Sophie into his arms. The girl clung to him like she'd never let go. As he walked out, Martha shouted after him, She left because she was afraid of you. Adrian stopped in the doorway. She should have been. That night, he and Sophie slept in his truck by the sea. The little girl's breathing steadied, and for the first time in years, Adrian dreamed not of war, but of vengeance. The next morning, he found Thomas, his old friend and former partner, now running a private security firm. I need everything on Catherine Hale, Adrian said. New name, new address, new life. Thomas hesitated but saw something in Adrian's eyes, a fire too focused to argue with. Hours later, the data appeared on screen. She's in Oak Ridge now. New identity, new husband. Michael Grant, a financial consultant. Adrian's jaw clenched. How perfect, he murmured. She traded dog tags for credit cards. That night, he drove to Oak Ridge and parked a block away from their home. From the shadows, he watched her step out, designer dress, diamonds glinting under the streetlight, laughter he didn't recognize. Michael's hand rested on her back like he owned her. Adrian's grip tightened on the steering wheel. You buried me, he whispered. Now it's your turn to be buried. Over the next weeks, he studied her routine. 6 a.m., coffee run. 8 a.m., gym. 9:15, work. Every Thursday, a private lunch with Michael's clients. Every Sunday, wine and laughter on their balcony. He memorized it all. Thomas worried. You're going too far, man. Adrian didn't look away from the screen. Too far is when you kill someone. I'm not killing her. I'm teaching her what death feels like. A week later, Catherine received a note in her mailbox. Not dead. Simple. Chilling. That night, she locked every door and window. Michael laughed it off. Probably some creep, but when the power cut out for 30 seconds, she screamed. The next day, Adrian sent an anonymous email to her company. One of your senior managers is living under a false identity. Proof attached. Within 48 hours, Catherine was called in for questioning. Within 72, the news broke. Local businesswoman, fake husband's death for insurance payout. Her phone rang nonstop. Her picture plastered across headlines. Adrian watched it all from his truck, expression unreadable. But it wasn't enough. Thomas called him that night. She's falling apart, Adrian. You've done enough. Adrian's voice was calm. No, she hasn't confessed yet. Days later, he tracked down the lawyer who'd filed the false death report. The man tried to slam the door shut, but Adrian caught it with one hand, eyes like glass. You forged the death certificate, he said. The man stammered. She paid me. Said it was for closure. Closure? Adrian repeated, taking a slow step forward. She stole my name, my daughter, my life. And you call that closure? The lawyer's face drained of color. I'll tell you everything. Adrian left him trembling and afraid. That night, Catherine drove home shaking. Every shadow looked like him. Every sound felt too close. When she entered the house, a stone crashed through the window. Tied to it, it was a note. Truth is coming. She screamed, dropped the stone, and sobbed. Adrian was watching from a distance, binoculars steady. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. Fear was the weapon now. Still, the soldier in him couldn't sleep. Every night he'd sit on the porch, staring at the ocean, thinking of the bodies he'd buried overseas and the one he'd left breathing here. The guilt crept in sometimes, then he remembered Sophie hiding under that table, and the guilt burned away. Weeks later, he confronted Catherine on the beach. The waves crashed between them, the wind whipping through her hair. You're supposed to be dead, she whispered. You made people believe that, he replied. You killed me on paper, Catherine, but you should have finished the job. She tried to plead. I was scared. You were selfish, he cut in. You weren't scared of losing me. You were scared of being caught. She swung her hand, but he caught it midair. His voice softened, but carried weight. One day, maybe I'll forgive you, but not today. She ran, sobbing. He watched her go. A week later, he broke into her office at night, downloaded everything, emails, photos, documents. The following morning, the press exploded again. Corporate fraud linked to fake death scandal. Michael Grant's empire began to crumble. That evening, Michael confronted her. Who the hell are you, Catherine? She stammered. The front door opened. Adrian walked in. Michael turned, rage boiling. You're the one. I'm the man she buried alive, Adrian said. Michael swung, but Adrian's reflexes were faster. They crashed into a glass table, shards flying. Catherine screamed. Adrian pinned Michael down. You thought she loved you? She doesn't love anyone. He shoved him back and stepped away, breathing hard. Catherine crawled toward him, crying. What do you want from me? Nothing, he said. Just for you to see what you've become. He walked out into the night, sirens wailing behind him. By the next morning, Catherine's world was gone. Her reputation, her lover, her fortune ashes. Adrian vanished from the city. Months later, he and Sophie lived quietly in a seaside town. The mornings were calm. The air smelled of salt and new beginnings. Sophie laughed again, and Adrian finally learned to breathe without guilt. One evening, she showed him a drawing. That's us, right, Daddy? He smiled softly. Yeah, that's us. The next morning, a letter arrived from Catherine. I've paid for what I did. I don't expect forgiveness. Just tell her. Her mother never stopped loving her. Adrian read it once, then lit a match. As the flames ate the paper, he whispered, "Some wars don't leave winners, but at least one of us is free." That night, the ocean roared under the moonlight. Sophie ran along the shore, her laughter echoing across the waves. Adrian watched her, his expression softening. Sometimes, he murmured, revenge isn't about anger, it's about peace. The wind brushed against his face, cool and forgiving. For the first time in years, he felt the weight lift from his shoulders. The war was over, not the one overseas, but the one inside him. And in that stillness, beneath the dying sun, he understood the truth. Some battles aren't fought with weapons, but with patience, silence, and purpose. And this one ended not with blood, but with a whisper.